Hey everyone, we're back for another workout of the day. Today is an AMRAP, as many rounds as possible in 20 minutes. It is called jelly roll. I'm gonna work off those jelly rolls. Okay, so 15 kettlebell swings, 15 goblet squats, 15 ab rollers, and 15 reverse burpees. So we're gonna go through all of those movements and the modifications, and then you can get started. Roll, here we go. So the first movement is gonna be our kettlebell swing. So with the kettlebell swing, proper form is very important. We do not want to pull out that lower back. So we want our feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. We want to make sure that our back is always straight. We're never leaning back. We're never letting it loose and rounded at the bottom. So we want to be nice, tight, and straight. That core is important. So we're gonna bring the weight back. So we're gonna bring our hips back, slight bend at the knee, only a slight bend. And we're gonna bring our arms so that the outside of our wrist touch the inside of our thigh. And we're looking forward, and we're gonna bring that weight up to about eye level. So in order to do that, we need to make sure our hips are coming back and we're pushing. That momentum is going to swing, if you will, the kettlebell upward. So you're going to squeeze at the top, and then you're going to bring it back down and so forth. It's going to be the momentum, not you pulling with your arms. Two things I see constantly with kettlebell swings is people do like a squat thruster sort of thing. So they come down into this squat and things get all squirrely and weird. So don't do that. How you can tell if you're doing that, because sometimes I think people aren't always aware of what their body is doing. If your wrists are touching or not touching, if you're touching your thighs anywhere above that wrist, that means you're doing something weird. So whether that is squatting down and trying to bring that momentum up, or you are coming back too far, people do that too. So no squatting, just a slight bend at the knee, really bringing that butt backwards, right? Or bring those hips back, bending at the hips, and no coming down too far. So this is what it looks like with the weight. We're going to grab that kettlebell with two hands, and we are going to bring it back. And you see, it's a nice swing momentum. I'm not leaning forward. My chest is always staying up, and I'm using my hip drive to bring that weight upward. If we don't have a kettlebell, that's fine. You can use a dumbbell. And again, challenge yourself with the weights. Just because you're a girl, just because you're starting out, just because you in your mind have already set a weight, make sure that you try. The goal would be to go up in weight if you start really low in weight. If you only have bands or just not really ready for any crazy weight or just really starting out, you can stand on a band, bring it back around your legs, and you're going to do that same movement just with a band. And it takes a little bit more pulling with those arms, but that's okay. You're still going to use those abs and core to move it back and forth. So that's the kettlebell swing. Next movement is going to be our goblet squat. So we want our feet to be about hip width apart. We don't really want them wide. We don't want them too close. We want them about hip width. Our toes are going to be slightly pointed outward. This is going to allow our knees to follow our toes so that we are coming out, keeping our feet flat on the ground and our chest up. So if you find that your feet are rolling, one of two things. you could be pointing your toes completely straight, which a lot of people do, and it's going to have this natural way of rolling onto the toes. Now, if your flexibility is good, it won't be as bad, but that comes to the second point. Mobility, flexibility also plays a role in this. So I want you to make sure, test out some air squats to see how low you can go, right? It's kind of like limbo. How low can you go? If you can just make sure you're aware of your feet. If you can come all the way down without ever lifting those heels up, your mobility is amazing. But if you find yourself getting down to about here and you start rolling, your mobility is not so amazing. So it's something to really work on. That ankle mobility, the knees, the hips, all that play a role in getting in a good squat. So come down as far as you can without rolling onto those toes. So the goblet squat, so if you're just starting out and you just want to do air squats, that's fine. The goblet squat requires weight. You're going to hold it in front of you and you're going to keep that chest up and come down into a nice squat. If you're using bands, that's quite all right. You can also use bands for this. You can do a front squat, step in that band, pull that band up to your shoulders, and come down into that squat. You can also put it behind onto your shoulders. If your mobility is terrible or you have some bad knees or hips going on, you can still do this. So don't make the excuse. Use a box or a bench, and you can do it with or without the weight. You're gonna come. I don't want you to sit and roll. Your feet should never be coming off the ground. You shouldn't be using the momentum, this roll. We want to use our legs. So you're gonna sit down, just tap that butt and stand back up. And again, you can do it with or without a weight. So no excuses here, guys. Every movement is doable. This is only going to make your knee injuries, your hip injuries, and your leg, whatever, is going to make it stronger and better. You're going to build those muscles around to support those injuries. Just make sure you're doing it properly and carefully as you do it. Okay, so next movement is going to be our ab roller. Obviously, you're going to need an ab roller for this. If you don't, it's okay. I'll show you some other things. We are going to be on our knees for this one. We're going to come out. We're going to roll the ab roller out. And as we do this, our butt is coming down. So my butt is up. Now I'm lowering it down and I'm coming out as far as I can. And I'm using my abs to come in and out, which is why it's hard to talk while I do this. Common mistake I see is this, like your butt is never coming down. You're going to put like weird pressure on that lower back and you're not going to get that targeted area of the abs. So make sure you bring that butt forward. Also, so if you can't get all the way out, just go about halfway out. But again, keep bringing that butt down. Really squeezing those abs. You can also do some inchworms if you don't have any weights. So you can come down, reach out, and just switch. But again, I really want you to squeeze those abs. Don't just do a loosey-goosey inchworm. Really squeeze those abs. Or feel free to do sit-ups or crunches or something to that effect as well. Just remember, squeezing those abs, whatever you're doing, and no hands behind your neck or head, because we don't want to put pressure on your neck. Okay, the next movement is the reverse burpee. So some more rolling to this jelly roll. It's kind of a weird but kind of fun movement that I like to add in every once in a while. Let me move some stuff out of the way. So a regular burpee looks like this. And you can do that if you don't feel comfortable doing the reverse burpee. Reverse burpee, we're going to be coming backwards. So we're going to come down into that squat, come to our butt, roll, and stand up. Right? So again, we're coming down. We're not falling down. We're squatting down, sitting, using the momentum to stand up. If you are having a hard time standing up, again, use that roll momentum to get your feet up. But you can also use your hands a little bit if you need. So again, with the hands, come down and kind of push up. You can also do, so you can do regular burpees, you can do reverse burpees with hands, or you can do hollow rocks. So we're gonna make sure our back is flat on the ground, no space in between. Put our hands up, and we're gonna rock back and forth using those abs, squeezing those abs to move. Or you can do a half burpee. So make sure you're coming all the way out into that nice plank position and come up. You can also do it on a bench if needed. So that is all of the movements. It's 15 reps for each movement, and you're just going to keep going through those rounds until you've hit 20 minutes. So good luck. Mark down your time, weights, and movements, and revisit.